Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. I'm back again, Joe Stanley, in the hosting chair. More of in my bed of all places because I haven't got a studio. And this week I'm joined again by Seb True and Luke Tanner, and we're going to be reviewing some of the Premier League transfers. I know the window closed at the end of September, early October time, but we decided to leave it a little bit longer, let the signings bed in before giving our reviews on who have been the best signings in the Premier League, and we'll take a look around for the best signings in Europe. We're going to start off with you, Seb. Seb, any standout signings for you?
Well, we're recording this on Monday, just the day after Leicester beat, I can't even remember, they beat Wolverhampton 1-0. And I just thought, Fofana, he's settled in so well at Leicester that it's hard for me to say anyone else except for Fofana at the moment. I like some of the signings that Chelsea made. If you look at Werner, Havertz, haven't hit the ground running yet. Ziyech still needs a bit of time. But when I look at standout signings this year so far who have come in, taken the burden and been outstanding, then for me at the moment, without doubt, it's Fofana. And I think Leicester have recruited well. I think Timothy Castagne as well in that defence midfield is a great addition. And I look forward to see what they do when they have all their players fit. But I'm going to say now that Fofana, if he continues like that, will be a world-class centre-back.
Luke, we're going to ask you the same question. Any ones that spring to mind straight away for you?
Probably have to agree with Seb. Like when Fofana came in from St. I thought, yeah, good bit of business from Leicester. It'll probably take a few months to readjust. But with the injuries that Leicester have, he's just been shoved in, and it's sort of like sink or swim, and he has done exceptionally well. Like if you thought at the start of this season who's going to have a better season from the St. Etienne centre backs of William Saliba or Fofana, most of you would have said, oh, yeah, Saliba's going to be in the Arsenal team, starting week in, week out. And now it's like, well, Saliba's stuck on the under-23s team, and Fofana starting week in, week out for the team, who is top of the Premier League at the time of recording. So he's probably been probably the standout. And plus, it didn't cost a lot anyway. It cost like 20 million, maybe 25. So a good bit of business there. That's probably the most outstanding one, just for the price.
I'm gonna also intervene on one of my. I think it's one that's maybe gone way too under the radar. But for the team that's second place, a person that has transformed them is Højbjerg. I mean, we could talk about Reguilon, Bale, what they've done, but Højbjerg has come into that Spurs team, and I mean, he's not always great, but he's changed the way that they defend from midfield, and I think he's a very important player to the way, firstly, Jose Mourinho wants to play, and any other Premier League side wants to play now, because Winks and Lo Celso last season in centre midfield, they were kind of a bit too lightweight. Højbjerg has that now, and a lot of people would criticise him on the ball, but I've seen no problems so far. He's actually very decent with the ball. So I think Højbjerg's got to be another one that we've got to talk about, because he's changed the way that Spurs defend now. And who would you say then, Joe? Who's your signing of the season so far then?
Signing of the season so far? You put me on the spot, because I didn't really think of to prepare one really, because I thought I'll be grilling you two on the questions. But like you said, Fofana should stand out defensively. In an attacking sense, you could have a look at Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa. He's been a good signing there, banging in the goals for them. Lots of question marks over the £28 million fee. And saying, well, they could have Karen Wilson for, £8 million less.
Or Brewster for £4 million less.
Oh, yeah, Ian Brewster, who's not really done much at Sheffield United, bless him.
It shows some contrast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And obviously, both young players, I'd say, Watkins and Brewster, compared to Wilson, I think the age thing with Wilson against a little bit. As a Liverpool fan myself, I've been impressed with Jota, but it's not about Liverpool, it's about the other clubs in the league myself. I want to ask you guys, are there any signs that's underwhelmed so far for you, for any of the clubs in the Premier League?
Underwhelmed.
Yeah, there are a few. I wanted to point out one of Leeds' signings. I said before, I've been really disappointed in Koch so far. It doesn't seem like it's working. He just keeps making errors, and maybe he has some decent games. I can't say I've seen every single 90 minutes of him, but for the moment, I am a bit disappointed in Koch. I was expecting a bit from the Freiburg team last season, but it just hasn't produced so far.
Underwhelmed. Who have I been underwhelmed with? Oh, I'm just having a look at the signings. Probably Willian, but underwhelming. At Arsenal, he had a great start to the season.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it, Willian?
God, not really. Considering the amount of money he's on and his age, considering that it should be in his prime, I think it's been underwhelming. He's had one good game since arriving, and he's on a big money deal, and he's 32.
Yeah, that's the big problem there. I want to also be. I mentioned this on the group the other night. I'm a bit disappointed in Lewis, Jamal Lewis. I didn't really see the. I know a lot of people talk about him, but unlike other fullbacks, I don't see the potential there in him. I just think he's bad at positioning. He's not a great tackler, and even going forward, he mistimes his runs. So I hope for him that he really does kick on.
We'd be saying that if he wouldn't be saying that if he was the one that signed for Liverpool, not Simicast.
Well, I had my doubts even when Liverpool were talking of signing him. I know I have a good friend who kept talking about Lewis potentially signing for Liverpool. I thought, well, it's not really. I mean, for someone who's got to take the burden off Robertson, I don't think a young player like that, it'd be fair on him because he'd be under much scrutiny. I don't think it'd be fair on Lewis, but I hope for him that he does kick on. I just don't think he's a Premier League player. I think he's currently a Championship player. I think also others have got to be noticed. We talked to just before with Luke about Southampton getting Walker Peters on a permanent deal. That's pretty good business. He's probably a very underrated right back in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, we know there's a lot of talent in English right backs, isn't there? Lamptey as well, who just recently signed from Brighton, but from Chelsea to Brighton.
Yeah, I think out of the big money signings, ones that I've been a little bit underwhelmed by has been Kai Havertz at Chelsea.
I think he's getting into it. I think he's getting there. I think he's such a good player. I love seeing him for Leverkusen. Yeah, that's the problem.
He started on the right wing, then in the 10, then getting dropped for Mason Mount. Mason Mount.
Well, he's got COVID now, so
in the 10, and obviously Frank sort of fell upon the 4-3-3 with Kante as your DM, your destroyer, then with 2 8s of Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. And arguably, that's probably where Kai Havertz's best position is. He's one of the 8s on the right-hand side, where he excelled for Bayer Leverkusen. I know he excelled as the false 9, but I feel like that the 8 on the right-hand side is where he excelled the most. Like
I think he's so talented that he'll adapt to the position that he's put in.
Yeah,
I really think.
I feel like he will have a good season, and it will depend on if N'Golo Kante can stay fit.
Yeah.
And if N'Golo Kante can stay fit and do all the defensive running, then Kai Havertz is going to show his quality. And he's only 20, so even if it takes him a couple of years to get into the swing of things, it's not like he's going to be a busted flush at 22 if he takes a couple of years. So he is the one that's underwhelmed, but I reckon he's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Played that. I thought started quite slowly for Chelsea, stick with Chelsea, but in recent weeks has shown a form. There's another attacking player, Hakim Ziyech, I believe it's pronounced. Yeah, there's
He's a baller.
Social media the other day on how he actually pronounced it. Is it Ziyech? I believe it's pronounced Ziyech. So we'll go with Ziyech because that's what they were saying at the weekend. I think he started to come a bit like Havertz has started to grow and settle into the Chelsea system and get used to the league, and he's settled down and sprinkled in a couple of goals in his game.
But they've now got so. I mean, we talk about it too often about Chelsea with their attacking options, but they're different type of attacking options. Kai Havertz is not the same as your Ziyech. He's not the same as your Pulisic. Pulisic can run in behind, run at defences. So Kai Havertz can float in around and has got such trickery. Ziyech can find a great pass. There's so much diversity in that attack that they can pick and choose however they please, and that must be exciting for Chelsea fans. I tipped them before the start of the season to win the league, And I still think they've got a good chance at doing so. And it's with players like Ziyech and Kai Havertz and Werner. Werner, for the price he was still a bargain. There's no denying that. Even if he hasn't started at the best of his form.
If Chelsea keep all their new signings fit, they'll be up there. I don't think they'll win the league.
They've got to compete, though. They've got to compete.
I've got to compete top three for me with that. With especially attacking wise, the depth in that squad. The only worry is if Thiago Silva gets injured, that defence looks shaky. Without Thiago Silva, like holding that defence together, and probably central midfield. If they lose N'Golo Kante, then I reckon that's going to be a massive detriment. But anyway, that's not drifting away from signings. I'm trying to think. Is there any other signings that has really impressed? Maybe Ruben Diaz at City, but
he started well, hasn't he? Yeah,
he started all right. He's not the cleanest on the ball,
but that's not what they need, sure is it? And that will come with time.
Yeah, and just a little quick look. I think Bale underwhelmed a little bit. That's because he's not coming back into fitness. Yeah. It's not match fit. But there's some underrated bits of business. Eze,
Kufal as well. Kufal for West Ham, I think, is underrated business. There have been some good signings, and if you look at Eze going down to the Championship, looking for players, it can be positive. Yeah. Whereas if you look at someone like Max Lowe, maybe not so much. There are two ways of looking at it. Or Brewster.
I mentioned the Everton business.
Of course, it's the obvious, isn't it?
The Everton business. James.
I've been impressed with James, and James, it's a pleasure to watch him play. I've not been too impressed with Decore, though, despite everyone raving a bit. I've not been that
was
impressed.
A bit.
It made sense in the midfield they want, but I'm still yet to be impressed by Decore.
What I'm going to ask you is to pick your top 5 of the window in the Premier League before we move on and have a look around the rest of Europe.
Top
5. So I'm going to say Kufal, Fofana.
Turning the screw.
I'm going to say Fofana's the best. I think Kufal is very underrated. It's a hard one to pick 5. I'd go for Ziyech already. And it's a hard one to choose, actually. Kind of think Højbjerg and then Reguilon. Yeah,
I'd go Eze 5. I'd go Castagna, Jota, Fofana, and then I'll probably go Hakim Ziyech. I think that's probably the signing of the summer. Created 6 chances against Sheffield United. That's the most of any player so far this season in a single game. And plus, he's only going to get better.
Yeah. Moving on to Europe, there's been a lot of signings, obviously across Europe, a lot of standout moves between lots of big clubs. Is there any move that really stood out to you compared to others in the Premier League, or would you say
Bellingham? For me, going to Dortmund from Birmingham City, he was heavily linked to United. Apparently, United pulled out all the stops. They even got Fergie out of retirement to show him on Carrington, but he ended up going to Dortmund, and so far I think he's settled in really, really nicely.
He's settled in quicker than was expected, and he's doing well.
Really well. You can see him playing in a double pivot with Axel Witsel and himself. But he's only going to get better. 17 as well. First team football, playing in the Champions League, and for an England fan, that is only good to see. Such a young player playing with Jadon Sancho, Haaland, Reina, Royce. That's only going to be good for his development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're looking at bad signings, the Arthur Pjanic swap deal. That's probably the worst.
I was gonna touch on that because Pjanic has actually not done too bad. He's had in and out games, but he's had good games, notably against Juventus. But the Arthur one, that he has not settled in it. Turin, and I personally think it's not going to be a success story. I think it will be a bit of a disaster. But yeah, I'm going to talk about one that I think is a bit of a sideways one, but Kulusevski at Juventus, who was not, I mean, big money, but not much was expected of him. And now we can see when Juventus play, yes, they're not great Juventus in the league, but he's becoming a key player. He's becoming almost as important as Ronaldo in that team. Well, let's not go too far, but when Ronaldo was absent, Pirlo had to bring Kulusevski on and saved them games. It seemed a bit mad, but he's doing really well for a 20-year-old. So I think I did want to mention that one. Yeah.
I think other signings across Europe, Victor Osimhen to Napoli from Lille.
Outstanding, yeah. He's just amazing.
So far, he's not got the goals that
No, but he does
go
everything.
with
So
good performance. But
I mean, there was a game where Napoli scored 6 goals. He didn't score a goal, but he was man of the match. He is a great player.
An underrated one, Hakimi to Inter.
Yeah, of course. And
solid.
Yet again, they can't really play without him.
And then you got like Sane to Bayern, Tonali to AC. Like there has been good deals, like good bits of business done. Not massive expensive deals.
We know
you know
why.
what? I have to shout out to one person, Eric Choupo-Moting. His agent deserves a medal, but this guy, he was crap at Stoke and managed to get over to PSG, win a league, win a cup, play in a Champions League final to go. I quite like it at this level. Who needs a backup striker? Bayern. Just goes and sits on Bayern's bench. Best agent in the world.
He scored 2 goals in the cup game for them, but not much else. It's that.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for. So credit to him.
Sticking with Germany, I'm going to talk about a transfer that did not happen, and it rumbled on throughout the whole transfer window. I think you know where I'm going with this one. A young English winger by the name Jadon Sancho.
I told Jamie in the summer this was not happening, and this is at the time where it looked like United might have got their shit together. But I said, nope, he is not going, and he's coming to Liverpool next summer. That's what I've said to him, and I'd love to be proven right.
It's unfortunate that Jamie's not with us this week on the show, because I would have liked to pick his brains on the whole Jadon Sancho
Told
thing.
you so.
It's affected him that. It's really affected his form. His form has dipped at the beginning of the season, and it's a bit of a shame because he's still young. He's still 20, so it's just unfortunate. So I hope he does come back to it, and he will if he continues the form that he did last season. He'll go for that 100 million that Dortmund want.
Yeah. It's just interesting where he goes because I only think there's one club where I think he goes to next summer, and that's Liverpool.
I don't know how you see that. Where is this? Liverpool aren't going to spend that money on him. Liverpool won't spend 110 million on him.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, but that's the
point. One of that front line is going next summer.
And Jota's there to take his place.
No, but I do think he moves next summer, Jadon Sancho.
Oh, he probably moves next summer, but I don't think it's Liverpool. United. I don't think it's Liverpool, though.
He's got more likelihood to go into Liverpool than he does United. But anyway, that's for another video.
I disagree, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mbappe 2021.
Real Madrid, I've got no doubt it'll be 2021 Mbappe.
And Eric Haaland 2022, baby. Eric Haaland 2022.
Eric Haaland, did you call him?
Oh no, Erling.
No, I think Eric's nice. I think Eric's nice. Like, with Aymeric Laporte. Hey Eric Laporte. Anyway,
my question for you guys is: with the January transfer window on the horizon, is there any club that really needs to do some business? And obviously, as a Liverpool fan, Luke, I'm going to ask you: is there anyone that you think Liverpool should try to sign in January? And Seb, when it comes to you, I'm going to ask you: is there a particular club that you think needs to sign a certain player in January?
For me, yes, Liverpool do need to sign in January. It's pretty obvious where they need to sign. Need a centre back, right? So Liverpool can either go a few ways about it. linked with Kabak in the summer. Don't particularly want him. One, because Liverpool like to look at the character of the players. Got banned for spitting at an opponent. So that might have put the club off going for him.
They
So
thought
Liverpool,
Suarez biting someone didn't put them off. So
yeah,
I
I
mean,
know,
what's
but
putting it past them?
But so it's either Upamecano, I think, is the one that Liverpool want. I think that's the number one priority. They either wait till the summer and pay out that release clause, which is dirt cheap, or they pay another 20 million on top of his release clause to get him in January. Or they have a look at Kalidou Koulibaly and go, fuck it. Put the Van Dijk money down for Koulibaly and get him in January. Because I do think Liverpool need a centre-back in January. It's so important because I don't want to see Fabinho at centre-back for much longer. I do think Liverpool need to definitely get one centre-back. I know, but it's either Liverpool get Upamecano or they get Koulibaly. They have or get another centre-back in the summer. Well, in January, maybe like a Skriniar's not playing a lot at Inter. Maybe you're going to get
Conte doesn't want him there.
Yes, Skriniar. But they need like a top level centre back in January.
But they're not just there to be picking out top centre backs. They're not just there.
Well, people say you can't spend loads of money in January. Yes, you can. Yes,
not during COVID
You've got the
times.
money, and
not during COVID
yeah,
times.
But Liverpool need a centre back, and I think they will go. I think a couple that's on the list is Kabak, Upamecano, Koulibaly, and Koundé from Sevilla. I think
Koundé
those are
would
the
be
four
expensive as well. That's the problem
on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be very interesting to see what will happen. But I think Liverpool centre back January must.
Yeah, that's the obvious. Liverpool need a centre back. I could question that Arsenal would probably need a creative midfielder in January, but I mean, that's us moaning about Arsenal again. Yeah, and is it too quick to say that Man City probably need a striker?
Man City needs a striker for the past year or so.
Yeah, but I mean, if Jesus is coming back, yeah, that's the big point. Can Guardiola get away with it for another season where he relies on Jesus and half Aguero?
But the thing is,
not.
I feel like with City, I don't think they're going to put any money on a player because they don't know if not Pep's going or staying. So they're not going to splash out on like let's say Lautaro Martinez from Inter. They're not going to splash out on £110 million, let's say, if the next manager after Pep goes don't want him.
Sure.
So they're going to ride out for this season, hope to get top four, and then they'll get Pochettino, and then they'll move on from there, and then they'll rebuild from there. Because I don't think City are going to splash out any big money on players in January. I think they're just going to ride it out.
Okay, so that's it for our review on the football transfers that have happened in the summer window and looking ahead to the January window. Thanks to Luke Tanner and Sebastian Chu for joining us. Who do you think has been the best signing of the window after we've had a couple of weeks to review it? And who needs to sign a player in January? Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you all very soon.